Welcome everyone to the new semester, the winter semester of 2022-23. It's great to see many new faces here. It's also great to see familiar faces from last semester or the two last semesters. It's a very mixed group. I welcome all the new students that we have from the certificate program, which is, can you maybe raise your hand quickly so that we know who's new here? Yeah? Okay, I thought it's more, but maybe the other faces are visiting scholars? Right, okay, great. My name is Gesa Lüdecke. I am the Director of Graduate Programs here at the Rachel Carson Center, and together with Christoph Mauch, I am moderating the Tuesday discussion this semester. We're alternating, so this week I am moderating, next week Christoph will be moderating, and so on. And I'm actually excited and thrilled that I have the opportunity to kick off the semester with two wonderful guests, actually three guests, because one guest brought his daughter. Maya Ahnen, that we already know each other because Maya has recently completed the Environmental Studies Certificate program at the Rachel Carson Center in the summer and is now an MA student here in Environment and Society, so the new master program that just got started this fall. And Maya is also an environmental and human rights activist and has been working in Germany, but basically, as far as I know, all over the planet, which we will learn about later today. And we also have Daniel Tapia Montejo. My Spanish is really basic, but I try to pronounce it properly. Daniel is also an environmental and human rights activist based here in Munich. He has worked for the Ökumenische Büro München, the Ecumenical Office for Peace and Justice in Munich, which is a non-profit organization that has been around for I think 30 years almost. So quite a very well-established and well-known institution. And his focus was and still is on Mexico, where he looks into human rights violations in the context of environmental crimes. Today we will hear about a caravan, a campaign, a tour that both of them organized with a team last summer during the G7 summit that took place here in Bavaria, in Elmau, which is not too far away from Munich. For those who haven't been to Elmau yet, it's actually a beautiful place.
If there are not much police there.
If that's exactly, without police. The tour included many workshops and discussions with Indigenous people who, like many others, are the voices that are not being heard by the G7 countries. And Danielle and Maya wanted to give these voices a stage with their caravan through Germany, which was a tour that took, I think, about 3 weeks, where they traveled throughout Germany and stopped in many cities, met many people from many different organizations and so on. This is what we're going to hear about in a minute. And we will be excited to hear about how you both experienced the caravan and what issues kept coming up during the discussions and the workshops. And maybe also, at least this is something that I'm interested in, maybe you as well, in how far mainstream politics can be reached with such events. Mm-hmm. And with this, I leave it here. I leave the floor to you, and thank you so much for coming, for being our guests, and everyone help me to welcome Danielle and Maya.
Hi again from my side. I'm very honored to be speaking here today, especially to people that I usually listen to in lunchtime colloquiums or such. I'm sorry for the people in the back. If you can't see me, I think I have to sit because of the camera. When I'm not studying, I'm also active in a political group called München International here in Munich. So let's get to it. As Gesa already said, the caravan was a 3-week tour through Germany last June, or June of this year. And we traveled to a different city every day, or maybe also sometimes 2 or 3 cities per day. We co-organized it. It wasn't only both of us, but a few other people collectively and democratically. And one of the goals of this caravan was to mobilize to the G7 summit, or to the protests against the G7 summit, which took place in Elmau at the end of June. And our perspective was that the 7 leading industrial nations that compose the G7 summit can be understood also as an image of global injustice and also the continuation of oppressive colonial structures. And we were of the opinion that, and still are, that their politics are responsible for the current economic, social, and environmental crises. And so the second goal was the first one was not only to mobilize all over Germany for people to come to Bavaria and protest, but also especially to give a platform to the voices that are ignored and oppressed or not invited to the summit. Even though these are the peoples that are the first to really feel the effects of the environmental destruction, the displacement, recessions, debt, militarization, and war. And for example, amongst these 10 people, there were 10 people, were, for example, Ina Maria Shikongo, who is a climate justice activist with Fridays for Future in Namibia, and Bettina Cruz, who is a Vinisa indigenous woman from the south of Mexico, who fights against infrastructure mega projects in her region, displacement, territorial reorganization. So that is a summary of how the caravan was and what our goals were with it. And I would pass over to Daniel to give a bit more of a historical context.
Thank you. And first of all, I have to apologize for my poor English, but I hope you understand me. And if you don't understand, ask, and Maya will translate it. Okay, this idea from the caravan or from this project was not just a spontaneous generation. It is a project, or just an idea which have a long history. Many times when I was working at Eco Bureau and even before, we organized it because we are our idea is we don't have to talk about the people and talk for the people, just our privilege to stay here, to have the money, to have the possibility to organize this, should make that we have to organize a platform to open to organize a stage where these people talk themselves. And it is at the first time, I think it's very respectful and just to do this, but at the second time, I guess if somebody arrives here with a big data, films, information, slides, and talk to you about what is going on in the Tehuantepec, is the region where Bettina Cruz comes. You will maybe understand what's going on, and maybe you will see, okay, there are pretty much injustice. Maybe it's needed to do something. But if Bettina stay here and tell to you with very less data, but with this convincement, what is going on there, and not just Bettina, everybody who comes from the south, and talk to you and to the other people by her own voice, it's pretty more than we could do, and I think it's a big problem also in this NGO world, is how people are represented and not presented. And this was the first ground idea. And also for the G7, this was the third caravan, which I personally work in it. The first one was when the G8, that time Russia was a friend, and then the G8 took place in Cologne at '99, and there one network, a world activist network called PGA, People's Global Action, organized intercontinental caravan where was about 500 people from the third world or global south traveling through Europe during 3 months alone. From India were 450 people who was traveling here, and also discussing with the persons here in Europe. And that was the first one. Then 2015, when the G7 took place the first time in Elmau, we organized this. And last year, about Christmas, when we have noticed that this will be there is even again in Elmo this year, just like a joke. I told to Maya and some others, hey, let's to do this. We don't one time and we can do a second time. And then I was, because of familiar situations in Honduras, and I met another woman there who was at the first caravan, and we was drinking wine and thinking about how nice will be to do the caravan with this bus. That was the first we made, and we began to discuss, and it's coming more and more and more convincement, and then we done it. And this was the situation, and I guess it was for this time it was very important to down this, because I guess because of Corona and other things, the mobilization for the G7 protest here was very, very poor. And these people which we talk, which we take to the demonstration and to the meetings, was a little bit light in this darkness. This was the first one, and the second goal, also not less important, is to use these possibilities to create networking here in Germany. And when we, for example, I am in contact with many people in Germany who was organizing the first caravan in '99, and for Friederike, one girl who was that time organizing, he was this year this time here in a discussion about militarism, and the other guy organized the meeting in Kassel, for example, from this first time. Then when we was in Dresden, there was people who told us, oh, this group who organized this event now, it was founded because of the caravan 2015. And last Sunday we have a reflection meeting with BUKO, which is about umbrella organization in Germany for internationalist groups, who was the association who gives the name for this project to give us the possibility to achieve funds from foundations and some other. And we have this meeting last Sunday, and some people from Dortmund, for example, they told that people which never met before are now working together. And this also was happening in Hamburg and in many places. And I guess this is also very important. Not just the message is the first important thing, but also through this project to make to get people linked in a same city. And it does that is one. And the other thing is also the possibility to mobilize people in a same city, because it's like Bettina told, we are not here to ask for solidarity. We are here to ask you to do something against the enterprises which are destroying our environment. And I guess this is the important thing, not the indigenous people in Mexico, we have to be solidarity and make the demonstration for them. Just go to Siemens, they are here, pretty close, there, Wittelsbacher Platz, and ask them why they are doing these eolical projects in Mexico, for example. I guess that was a little bit the idea of this project.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our input. I think we did exactly 10 minutes.
All right, thank you so much.